Hi everyone, Tyler Manion here, NPC and IPB Pro League Vice President. This will be the Tampa Pro Recap for Wellness, brought to you by Wolfpack. So in first place we had Lisa. This was definitely the best ever Lisa that I've seen. I've judged her a couple of times now. I know she was right outside the top 10 last year at the Olympia. And this package was much, much improved. Really for Lisa, the only thing I would say is she can come in just a touch fuller. She was just a little bit on the hard side. Really not too bad at all, but just a little bit. A little bit more fullness will really help her when it comes to the Olympia and trying to battle with these girls at the top, which with her physique now, she has a very nice hourglass shape. Her balance in her lower body between her legs and her glutes are very, very good. Her upper body is the proper size for Wellness. She has a nice hourglass shape in her front and her side poses. She posed very well. Her glutes stayed full during the walk. And it was just an extremely impressive performance by her on this day. And just shows that the quality of Wellness is improving at a rapid rate. I think we're going to see definitely the most competitive top 10 that we've ever seen at the Wellness Olympia, and the top 5 should be extremely good this year, so very excited to see that. In second place, we had Cassandra. She needs to work on still bringing down the muscularity in her upper body a little bit more. Her lower body is still a little bit dense as well. You end up seeing in the front of her leg, you see basically too many lines in the front of her leg that shows off the density of the quads just a little bit too much. So everything to me still needs to be streamlined down a little bit more to really enhance and get that Wellness look. I think she did a good job of bringing her waistline in, though, from the last time we saw her until now, as she continues to streamline the rest of her physique. Her glutes are obviously very good. Her posing was solid, but it's just that muscularity and density that she needs to continue to streamline down to elevate her look. In third, we had Juliana. So for Juliana, one thing she needs to really work on is her posing. I think she was not doing herself any favors with her waistline. Now, the waist can still come in a little bit more. It was looking a little bit wide, especially when you see next to the top 2 competitors. So bringing in that waistline, but also posing correctly to try to help hide that waistline a little bit more will help her a lot. She has a little bit too much density in her quads. That can definitely come down a little bit more because conditioning-wise, she probably could have been just a touch tighter, but I know right now with the composition of her body, if she would do that, she could look a little bit too muscular in the lower body. So need to streamline that density down in the quads, bring the waist in, but she's a good competitor that should do very well going forward as she continues to improve her physique. In fourth, we had Jasmine. So for Jasmine, the main things that she needs to work on is she needs more to her upper glutes. She needs more depth to her glutes. She's also leaning forward just a little bit too much in her back pose. And she could be just the slightest bit tighter with her conditioning. She was just a touch on the soft side. Probably part of the reason that she was trying to lean forward to show the detail in her back pose. But overall, she has good balance between her lower body, the legs, and the glutes. As the glutes come up, that will improve even more. Her hourglass shape and waistline are very solid, and her upper body is not too big or muscular. So I think she has a lot of potential and can do very well moving forward. That's the recap for Wellness. Next up will be our Tampa Pro recap for Bikini. In first, we had Issa. I think this was the best Issa that we have seen so far on stage in her pro career. She did a very good job of bringing up her back pose and bringing up the depth of her glutes, also while bringing out the detail of her tie-ins, all while not being too hard. So this was very, very good by her. Really, the things moving forward are that she can improve are in the front pose. She was kind of pinning her front shoulder a little bit back too far. If she just relaxed and was a little bit more normal, that's going to make her front pose even better than what it already is, which is one of the best front poses that we have in the league. And the one other thing was she was a little bit washed out through the midsection here. So just need to be careful of that going forward. But overall, the conditioning and the fullness was where we want to see it for her. She finally was able to bring the fullness that we've been seeing, with the top 2, top 3 at the Olympia the last couple of years, while still having the detail in her back pose and the pop in her back pose. So a very, very big improvement by her, and it will be very exciting to see her at the Olympia this year. In second, we had Ivy. Ivy also improved a lot from last year. She was just a touch on the hard side. She could be a little bit fuller when it comes to her conditioning. And the main thing she can work on is still adding a little bit more depth to her glutes. I think she did a good job of having more overall balance top to bottom with her physique, especially in the lower body. I think last year her legs and glutes were a little bit on the small side, and she definitely improved that. She had a little bit more fullness to the legs and a little bit more fullness to the glutes. Really now she needs is a little more glute fullness as well. She could be a little bit more relaxed in the front pose with a little more natural hourglass shape, but I would say she made very good improvements from last year and should do very well at the Olympia. In third, we had Rihanna. So the main thing for Rihanna is I think she needs to add a little bit more fullness to her legs and her glutes. It's a little bit more development in the lower body. The upper body is great. Her overall hourglass shape is great from the front, but the main difference from her to the top 2 was the lower body development and fullness. So that's the main thing she has to keep working on going forward. In fourth, we had Alice. So for Alice, I think she was a little bit on the soft side when it comes to her conditioning. The main thing she needs to bring up is more overall development to her glutes. She needs more fullness, more roundness, more depth to the glutes. She also can bring up the lower body just by a hair. And that's basically the main things, as I think her front pose was very strong. The balance was pretty solid overall. But it was definitely just behind, especially on the development side, the top 3 in the glutes. So there you have it for bikini. Another very strong show with 4 Olympians going at it.